Hey, welcome to the second part of the tutorial. This time we will be focusing on the HTV design. I am using for this one only the software from my HTV cutter. So if you plan to buy another cutting tool, I bet they have most likely the same features to create your designs. Anyways, let's get started with some basic stuff. First of all, I don't draw the stuff myself most of the time. I use pictures based on the manga or objects I want to have on my covers. But sometimes if I can't find proper pictures, I try my best to create them myself. Here you will luckily see both. Keep in mind, for this program it's the best to find pictures which are black with a bright background so the program can trace the image better and more precisely. Of course, I already created the design beforehand, so the video don't goes on for ages, but I'm gonna try to recreate it for you to show you the process. First of all, I create with the measurements we took from the boards, which we glued down on the book cloth, and create a square so we know how big our design is allowed to be. Then we put our picture into the program and go for the trace function. There you mark the spot you want to have the picture traced. Use the settings I have that usually works fine. Once it's traced, delete the original picture and mark the traced one and fill it with color. So you can see what got traced and how it would look when it's getting cut. You will be needing to delete a lot of details so your cutting machine can handle the picture. Two little dots, for example, can be devastating in the cutting process, so try to get rid of all the little stuff as much as you can. Don't worry, the image will have still a lot of detail afterwards. In order to do so, you have to release the compound path, but always create a compound path again and fill it with color so you can detect mistakes you did along the way. The more detail you have, the harder and time consuming will be the weeding afterwards. So keep that in mind when you choose your picture or image you want to have on your book. Here I'm using the cutting function because if I want to delete the other circle, it would have deleted the silhouette from Curise as well. So if you do like this cut, it will be its own line, so you can just delete it without harming the whole picture itself. And another very good function is to be able to play with the points of the lines which the cutter will be following. So this allows you to delete certain ways or connect lines, which this is very helpful in a lot of cases actually. Here, for example, the picture wasn't connected because the trace was not as successful as it should be, because it was not black in this point of the picture. So you gotta do it manually, and I just delete all the points which are necessary and cause the not filling, let's say like that. And once you have like both somehow somewhat like straight, you use again the cutting function and make a straight cut on both sides, and afterwards it's you will delete the end parts, and then you're able to connect the points together so it's one picture again. Now just put the square back in and try to fit your design into it. And now you can just redo this process with all the other images you have. Do it to the simplicity, these ones go way faster, but always create compound paths so you don't have to align them always. And now it's time to create the frame. A frame always looks very classy and very noble, and of course, what fits better than more gears for this project? For the frame, I recommend to use another square slightly thinner than the ones we measured, so we can be 100% sure if it will fit on the book. Then you create another one which is around 0.2 millimeter tinier than the one before, so you can connect them and create a frame with it. In this program, this can be done easily with the offset function. So just apply an offset and choose how thick you want the frame to be. I tend to make it not as thick so it looks classy. Put now the first square on top again to see how far you can go with the gears. Now just place as many stuff as long it fits the square. I decided to cut here the excess on the frame, which gives it a very clean look, like the gears would be held on the frame. And just repeat the process now. And Now it's time for the spine. For that, the method is the same. Use the measurements from before and create a square and place your motifs into it so it fits. I wanted to have the famous Nixie clock as volume numbers, but there was no good picture for me to use, so I had to create it myself, a bit with the silhouette I found. Always make sure to use a bit thicker lines than too small ones, since they tend to get ripped off sometimes, especially on this metallic HTV I use. Also try not leave a little gap here always between pictures so it doesn't interfere with the other one and rip it off accidentally. Also at this point, thanks for watching again and subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me, and as I always say, you are welcome to join the Discord server as well to exchange any ideas or just be part of the process. And you can also check my Instagram if you're just interested in the end results and don't want to watch long ass videos. But I also started now doing shorts on YouTube, which I'm pretty new to, but I will be doing like all my old rebinds as a short, so you don't have to watch a full-length video always. So stay tuned for it. And as always, if there are still questions or any other stuff which you wanna tell me, just drop it in the comments, or as I said, join Discord. I'm usually very active there and respond more often than on YouTube comments, I think. The most important part now is that you have to mirror the picture, because when you cut the HTV you will have it like upside down and you have to mirror it before you send it to cutter. So don't forget about that. I did it once and like trashed a lot of HTV for it, so just keep that in mind. Now just check always if the picture is really on the lines which will resemble the cutting mat, so you don't accidentally cut into the picture. and then you can just send it to the machine to cut, but also always check the settings and use the ones which the HTV is recommended to be cut with. But from personal experience I can tell you the recommended settings are not always as good and they don't cut deep enough, so just test it out yourself always. And that's it. We are done with the design. You can see partly the weeding process and cutting process on part 1 of this tutorial. And thanks again for watching. See you next time.